Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. It is me, it is I, Serena Eyitoyo. Welcome to another sit down video where we talk about everything and we learn about so many things. So how are you guys doing today? In today's video, we'll be talking about reasons why husbands stop touching their wives in the other room, reasons why husbands get cold in the other room. So, thank you for stopping by, and do make yourself a family by pressing the red subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when I post a new video. Now, there are things that actually bother people and they are not able to share it with people, they are not able to share it with friends, they're not even able to share it with family because they feel that someone is going to laugh at them or look at you somehow, that maybe you're not attractive enough, or maybe you have done something wrong that has made your husband not to touch you, or make your significant other to stop touching you, or on the other hand, or they might even start suggesting things to you like maybe your husband is cheating on you, and that is why I am bringing this video. So many people cannot relate with people, but when you watch this video, I'm sure it's going to help you figure out some things why physical touch is not happening. And you can only know how to solve a problem when you know the root cause of the problem. So in this video, I'll be sharing four reasons why your husband might not be touching you or might not be intimate with you in the other room. Okay, so the first point I'm going to make here is that physical touch might not be his love language. Physical touch is the most important thing in every relationship. So if there is a difference in the lighting, please bear with me, okay? Because it started raining and I had to close the blinds, okay? I had to close the door because I was using natural lights before it started raining, and now I'm using artificial light. So if the lighting is different, please bear with me, okay? So the first point I'm going to make is that physical touch might not be your husband's love language. Now, you're going to say that he has been touching you all this while, but you know, men tend to change in marriage. Men tend to change in relationship, okay? So before you judge your husband, try to find out what could be the problem, because there are so many things that could make a man to change in the bedroom. There are so many things that could make a man to be uninterested in touching you, okay? Maybe he has been touching you for the first, the second, the third year, and all of a sudden he stopped, okay? Now this might make you feel insecure. This might make you feel like he doesn't love you. This might make you feel less confident, and this might even make you to start suspecting your partner, okay? Because we all know that physical touch is the most important in every relationship, and if it's not happening in yours, then you need to find out why before you judge, okay? So how do you find out why? By communicating. Now, there's something I always say on this channel. You know, while growing up, they taught us a lot of things. It is a woman that takes care of the man. It's through your cooking that you get through a man's heart. It is this, it is that. It is a woman that keeps a home and blah, blah, blah. But nobody teaches our men of how they take care of us. Nobody tells these men that, okay, you can also try in your own part, okay? Nobody teaches them anything. Now, when you get married to your husband, there's something I learned from my pastor. She will always say that your husband is like your first baby. Okay, so you teach him how to love you, you teach him how to take care of you, you teach him how to nurture you. You practically teach him everything. Now, you don't teach him by telling him this is no. And the truth is that men don't know how to communicate this thing. So you have to teach them and help them to know how you want it and help them communicate with you how you like it, okay, or how you want to be touched, okay? So now there are 5 love languages that I'm sure everyone knows about. This was the first book my husband gifted me when we were about to get married. We know there is words of affirmation, we know there is act of service, we know there is physical touch, we know quality time, and there, yeah, I think I've mentioned 5 already, yeah. Now, if physical touch is your love language, and physical touch is not your husband's love language, over time, it will die in his part, coming from his part. It might just be you doing it and he will go along with it, okay? Now, if physical touch is not your son husband's love language, that is something you need to work on. So maybe his love language is act of service, or maybe his love language is quality time. Now, for you to get him to give you what you want, physical touch, is to get to communicate and work on it together. And one thing I have learned from my husband is that when communicating with a man, or when trying to tell him what you want, like you want to communicate with him that he's not giving you physical touch or why intimacy is not going on, don't go accusing him. Another thing I have learned is that don't discuss with a man, or don't communicate with your husband based on assumption, because there might be multitude of reasons why people disconnect from their spouse. And if you go based on accusation or go based on assumption, you might end up losing that communication. You might end up not getting the answer you want from him. Okay, so the only way to penetrate your husband is by going with understanding, and then being patient, and then with prayer, because there is nothing you can do without God. Without God, there is no marriage, because He is the one that made marriage. So He understands everything about marriage, okay? Men don't understand us women because they were asleep why God created us, and women don't even understand men much. You know why? Because we were not even in existence. God has not even thought about us while He was creating them. Okay, so the only way that you can really understand your husband is go down on your knees. Now, before I make any kind of communication to my husband, before I tell him anything, I first of all go to the one that gave him to me. I first of all talk to God about him and how I want the communication to go, because sometimes when you're trying to communicate something, they think it the other way. Okay, that's the first point. The second point is that he might be going through something. Now, this is very important. This is very important. He might be going through something. Now, men tend to shut down when they are going through something. They do that as a way of protecting themselves. And since they are not very good at communicating, they are not very good at multitasking, they try to shut everything, every noise, every distraction down. Okay, I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't know if you have noticed it, but men, when they're going through a challenge, they're quiet. Sometimes you might be talking to your spouse, but because there are so many things going through his head. Do you know that a woman can be taking care, be breastfeeding and be cooking, and also be doing a homework for her toddler, and just be multitasking? Okay, and there is something that's also bothering her. Maybe she's having a menstrual cramp, or maybe something is wrong. She's having headache, but she's cooking, she's doing it. But men aren't like that. So when going through something, they're gonna shut down all external windows and focus or concentrate on that particular problem or that particular issue that is weighing them down. So in this case, it might not even be your fault, because the first thing that goes through our mind as women when physical intimacy is not happening in the bedroom is that, what have I done? Okay, what did I do? Is it I'm not doing my hair right? Or maybe I'm not making up the way I'm supposed to make up? Or maybe I stopped dressing the way I used to dress. Now, that can also contribute to it. But in this aspect that he's going through something, it might not just be you. When I heard this from my husband, I was shocked, okay? Now, there was a particular time that my husband was also going through a stress, and it was so difficult to communicate with him. It was so difficult to penetrate, okay? I actually felt that maybe I had done something wrong, okay? But the Holy Spirit will always guide you. If you are a praying wife, the Holy Spirit will always make you to know the angle to enter. You will always know there's always an angle, there's always a soft place. There's one place you can always pass to get to your husband, okay? So it was a very difficult time for me. I was trying to communicate to him, but he was just shutting me out. Like, he doesn't want to talk, he's not in the mood to talk, blah, 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 and I never knew he was having a stress, okay? So now, instead of judging him, I went to prayer and I prayed about it. And I just told God, okay, God, please, you know how to talk to God. So I just told God to make my husband to talk to me, to make my husband to make me understand, okay, if I've done something wrong, why don't you just tell me? Okay. But after praying, I think that evening I was quiet. And sometimes, okay, guys, sometimes you just have to be quiet. Now, after praying, and maybe you have tried to enter into him and it's not working, be quiet and wait for the time, wait for the spot. Okay, now I waited, and that evening he just came to me and said, I'm so sorry, it's not like I'm not trying to communicate with you, see what this happened, see what happened, and see what happened. I'm like, oh really? And then he said that thing, he said to me, he said, sometimes don't just assume things. Okay, assumption is bad. And then he said to me that assuming or assumption is very bad when you want to communicate with me, because when I wanted to communicate to him, I didn't tell him, oh honey, I want to know the reason. I started saying, is it because, or is it that, or is it this? Do you get? Now I went from a very bad I went I shot my shot in a very bad way. Okay, now I didn't start from a very good point, I went from a wrong angle. Okay, now another thing is trying to put yourself in your husband's shoes. A bit of patience, a little bit of empathy, then trying to understand where he's coming from emotionally will actually help you understand better. Okay, so if he's going through something, you have to find out what he's going through and what you can do to help him. Because if the atmosphere is tense, if something is going through his mind, physical intimacy has a lot to do with your mind. It has a lot to do with emotions. It has a lot to do with emotions. Now, if you're going through an emotional stress, you will not be able to be intimate with your partner. So you have to come from a point of empathy, from a point of understanding, and from a point of patience, and from a point of prayer. I can't stop emphasizing prayer because prayer has helped me a lot. Okay, prayer has really kept me in everything. Okay, that is why I can't stop talking about prayer. Now, the third point that I'm going to make concerning why your husband may not be touching you is he's not contented, he's not satisfied, or you are actually doing something wrong. Now, the first point I said you might not be doing anything. The second point I said it might be from him, maybe he's passing through a lot. But the third point is reality. Okay, he might not be satisfied, or he might not be contented, or you are doing something wrong. Okay, now we all know that men are visual beings. Okay, we all know that men are visual beings. They like varieties. Okay, now you have to spice things up your own way. This is a situation where you have to ask some serious questions. Questions like, are you doing something wrong? Because before pointing an accusing finger on someone, you have to check yourself. So many ladies don't like checking themselves. They don't like checking in with themselves to see, okay, am I the one wrong? Because if you guys are arguing a lot, physical intimacy will be difficult. If you guys are having issues a lot, physical intimacy will be difficult, because when the environment is tense, my dear, emotions will not flow. Okay, love will not flow. Everything will just be stiff when you guys are arguing, or maybe he feels you're nagging about something, or maybe he's complaining about something and you're not listening, and it's causing argument and there's tension. It will not happen. Okay, the sweetness will not be there. Or you have to ask yourself, are you frustrated about something, or you're constantly yelling at him, or you're constantly arguing or asking him a question that he's tired of answering? Do you understand? There are so many of these small things that we don't understand that can cause a little bit of withdrawal from our spouse. Now, there was a point in my life that I was having some issues, and when these issues were going on, I didn't sit down to think about it. I was so frustrated, and I started nagging him about it. He was feeling like I was attacking him, because whenever he comes, there's always this somebody that is frowning. Do you understand? And that wasn't helping at all until I had to change my ways. Okay, I had to change my pattern. I had to look for a better way to communicate. Now, there are some times that we wives will communicate with our angry face and it works. There's sometimes that you communicate with your smiley face and it works. Okay, so that is why I said you have to spice things up your own way. Do you understand? Because there's something I read. I read something. It says it is only a fool that does one thing, that does something over and over again. You're not getting result, but you're still doing the same thing. Okay? If you want to get result, try another thing. It's just like you want to solve an equation. You want to get a particular answer. You want your answer. However you solve that equation, It's your business. As long as you arrive at the same answer, you can use simultaneous equation, you can use factorization, you can use quadratic equation, whichever way you want to solve this equation. However you want to solve it, it's your business as a wife. But as long as you get the answer that you're looking for, do you get? Because when the atmosphere is not conducive, happiness will not flow, and happiness brings love. When someone is happy, they just show you how they feel about you. Another thing is how you look, okay? Men are visual beings. They want to see different things. They want to try different things in the bedroom, okay? That is why you have to marry your friend. So be open to different things as a wife. I used to watch Pastor Funke Dejumo. I think I'm pronouncing her name properly. Yes. She said, as a wife, you need to know so many things. Now, the people that are celebrating 20 years in marriage, 30 years in marriage, 50 years in marriage, okay, it is they did so many things, okay. They didn't just wait and say, it's not working like this, so now wow. Do you get? They try so many things. If you try this way, it's not working, you try the other way, okay. Nobody knows it all. You learn marriage in marriage. You learn marriage in marriage in the sense that when you're doing things today and this pattern is not working out, as a woman, God has given us that wisdom to try so many things. You try the other way, okay? If you're trying this way, you try the other way, and it will work out for you. Don't forget that the spiritual, like I always say, controls the physical. So whatever you want from the physical, you get it from the spiritual. Go down on your knees, ladies. Go down on your knees, okay? Now, number 4, which is the last point, is that he has another interest. Yes, this might come as a shocker, but temptation is real, okay? Now, don't forget that men don't know how to multitask. Now, when something else is distracting him, you need to find out what that distraction is and take it out. That is why, as a woman, you need to be sensitive. Now, this 4th point is a very sensitive point. It's a very sensitive point because ladies, girls these days are wicked. They use a lot of things. You guys know what we're talking about. They use everything to get your man. They don't want to work for their own. They just want your own. So you have to be very smart. You have to be as wise as a serpent, okay? Now, if something is distracting him somewhere, he might not be the one that is going after the thing. Maybe that thing is coming after him. That is why you need to pluck it down. The moment you notice that there is a withdrawal, or the moment you notice that your husband's behavior has changed, when you try to communicate with him, when you find out all these things and all these things are in check and they are in place, okay, be also at alert that the devil, your enemy, is always there, has come as maybe one distraction, maybe a woman, or maybe porn, or maybe one thing, one nonsense out there. Maybe he might not necessarily be cheating with another woman, but I'm just saying that men don't know how to multitask. And the moment something starts distracting them, they are easily carried. Okay, now you have to find out, because a relationship takes two. So discuss with him what is going on and find out that thing. Now, I want to say something before I go. When a seed is planted, if it's not found on time and removed, it will grow into a plant. If it's not removed as a plant, it will go into a tree. And when it grows into a tree, it will be difficult to cut it down. Okay? So whatever be the case, find out on time and destroy that seed before it grows into a plant where you start uprooting, or before it gets into a tree where you start cutting it down, because it might be difficult. A lot of homes are breaking, a lot of divorce everywhere. Okay, one of those things is part of that thing. Something might be distracting him somewhere that is not allowing him to do his rightful duties at home. Okay, now you as a wife has to be sensitive. That is why I always say prayer is key. Prayer is key, because the Holy Spirit will always direct your mind and directs you as a woman to know what the situation is. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you learned one or two from this video. Okay, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope I was able to impact you in one way or the other. There are so many reasons why your husband might not be touching you, but I want you to know that prayer is the answer to every situation. Okay, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to me if you haven't. Don't forget forget to ring the small tiny notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. And also let me know in the comment section what other kind of videos you would like to see, because I am here to serve you guys. All right, God bless you and stay very beautiful. Bye.